Good evening and welcome to SGA Nightly live from Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm Ryan Mix.
And I'm Mega Sugianto. Thank you for joining us. It's bittersweet because it's the last day of the State Games of America. And what a busy day it was. Athletes from 47 states, more than 60 sports, trying to make their way home with the gold.
Yeah, Mega, it's been a really busy week. This weekend especially, over 60 sports in the games as you mentioned, but this weekend was the big highlight because over 50 sports were going on this weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
So a lot going on.
Especially in this venue here at Pinnacle Bank Arena. We had wrestling out on the floor, but darts and foosball, so it just shows you how much is going on at Lincoln's top venues.
Exactly. I can still hear darts upstairs. It's still going on.
Still having fun. Well, with the games wrapping up on the last day of tournaments, State Games reporter Taylor Klaczynski went out into the action.
Thanks, Mega and Ryan. We went out to 4 different venues today for cycling, bowling, wrestling, and golf. The competitors are ready to play and have some fun.
I work for Nebraska USA Wrestling, and the track clocks and the wrestling mats are ours, and so just helping put on the tournament.
It was great. It was good. That last section from Seward to the rest stop was, of course, very hilly and getting hot. So.
Sorry. What? We're number 1 from Oklahoma.
But I'm still having fun. That's all I care about.
Taylor, you were kind of all over the place today. What caught your eye out there today?
It was actually golf because my dad actually played in the tournament today and ended up taking home the gold.
Really?
Yeah,
So, I mean, you got to take some of that credit, right, for being there?
of course.
Good luck. So now he's probably going to want you to follow him around every time he plays golf.
Definitely.
I like the good luck charm. Thanks, Taylor. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
And action in Omaha was actually very busy with over half a dozen events taking place across the city. Now, badminton was hosted on the campus of University of Nebraska, Omaha. Doubles happened yesterday, singles today. And I gotta love, I used to watch my dad play badminton all the time. And I thought, you know, you got a little light racket with a little feather thing. I don't know what the terminology is.
The
but
peacock.
it's a hard sport. You're
Yeah.
like running all over the place.
Yeah,
It's a birdie.
The birdie.
The
yes.
birdie. It's not a
Just-
peacock.
Yeah, that's a different sport. Well, this is a completely different sport from badminton, but BMX racing, that took place yesterday at Hefflinger Park in Omaha. 3 divisions competed: novice, intermediate, expert. All 3 divisions were also separated by age. Many of the competitors were from Nebraska, and racers from Iowa and Kansas were also competing this weekend. For results on the BMX racing competition and all the games, visit sga2015.com.
And WOWT's Jessica Gill has been spending her day on the disc golf course in Omaha. She joins us now. How's it going out there, Jessica? All right.
There is a first time for everything, guys, including frolf. Okay, so the technical term is disc golf, but it's growing in popularity, you might say. And this is actually the first year that it's included in the State Games of America. So what is it exactly? Well, according to 2 young men, it's a family affair.
It's the sound of some pretty fierce competition, especially when family's involved.
Every throw that he has, I have a little bit of I hope this is a terrible throw, but then if he has a bad throw, I'm like, I want him to do good. I want him to take second place behind me is basically how I always want it to happen.
Tim and Ben Nispel of Douglas, Kansas are cousins. Together, they took up disc golf when they were in college. And they'll be the first to admit it's no walk in the park.
It is really hot. You got to have a lot of water. That's for sure.
It's definitely the mental game. That's keeping your head in check.
But they would not trade it for anything.
It's just fun. It's nice to get outside, get some exercise. It's just the competition. It's a blast. Hard to get away from.
So here they are, hitting the green with a bag full of frisbees in tow.
And just like regular golf, each one does something different. This one right here, it's called a putter.
But unlike golf, which is familiar to most, their sport is now finally gaining some exposure, making its first appearance at the SGA.
So that's really, really awesome that it's starting to become a big sport.
What you just saw was actually the final round for the SGA's disc golf competition. To see how Ben and Tim and all the others came out, you can find a full list of results on the SGA's homepage. Reporting live, I'm Jessica Gill. We'll toss it back on over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Have a good weekend.
Well, soccer action was in full swing today as teams battled it out with 17 different divisions in the medal round. Soccer's popularity, as we all know, has been growing across America, but especially in Nebraska. And State Games reporter Matt Reynoldson has more.
Thanks, guys. One team from Lincoln in the 12 and under boys club division was especially dominant today. This club is only a few years old and is already taking the State Games of America by storm.
Soccer is the biggest sport at the State Games of America, with more than 1,500 athletes, 3 venues, and overwhelming spectator support. Here at Wright Park, they have 10 games going on at any given time, and as you can see, fans have packed this venue on a hot day. The Magellan Soccer Club is a fan favorite for their quick pace and tactically sound play. These 11 and 12-year-olds play with tremendous discipline, and their coaches foster that style of play.
It's all German-based philosophy. I used to coach in the academies over in Germany, and so we've taken back their methodology, brought it over here, and started introducing it to the kids here in Lincoln.
That German philosophy centers on quick passing and quick decisions. But even with this philosophy, keeping kids focused is the real challenge.
We talk to them a lot about the best teams have to stay focused, have to keep working on their lessons during the game.
I think we played good.
Yeah.
We did a lot of 2v1s.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of possession of the ball.
Even a group as team-oriented as this one has its standouts. Osvaldo Cisneros, referred to by his teammates as Messi after soccer star Lionel Messi, had a hat trick in today's game. Do you think you could take Messi one-on-one?
Yeah.
The group has been dominant in this tournament, and their confidence has never wavered.
I think we played the best that we've ever played.
We had an expectation. We thought we'd do well. This is a good team. We took them up to Minnesota, and they did really well at a tournament up there. So we had high expectations, and they've exceeded them.
The Magellan soccer team won their first 3 games by at least 10 goals each, and they won the gold medal game 9-1. Talk about a dominating effort.
Matt, you saw some pretty impressive kids out there, and now it is not just from kids that play on that team?
There's one from Omaha, actually. A parent told me he drives his son over an hour, 4 times a week.
Really?
Just to play for this club, yeah. And he just said he has so much respect for the club that that's what he wanted to do for his son.
Now, was this the kid who was compared to Messi?
No, this is Bishesh. He scored a goal today. So.
Okay. Well, those kids are destined for some good things, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. CrossFit Lincoln's Ultra Fit Challenge was in full swing today with 115 athletes competing for the gold. The sport creates a really tight-knit community because everyone spends their time training together. With more on the story, State Games reporter Anna Faubert has a story.
CrossFit Lincoln's UltraFit Challenge is a competitive sport for almost anyone, which combines strength, agility, and speed in a variety of athletic techniques.
I like a little bit of all of them and hate a little bit of all of them as well, so it's just kind of a love-hate relationship with everything.
To compete, it takes a willingness to participate and a dedication to the intense workouts. With lots of training and the teamwork involved, these athletes become close to one another.
The community is just awesome. It's like my second family. I mean, my family lives away from here, so it's my second family. Here quite a bit. My kids are part of the program. We have a kids program, and all 3 of my kids are part of it. The kids that are competing here, they're all part of it. It's just a great community.
One of the top top competitors is from Nebraska. Sarah Burbach won the gold medal in the singles competition in her division. Individual success is important in this sport, but so is working with a team.
Just the relationships and the fun that you have with your teammates. Not really even anything with the competitions, just the fun that you have and the relationships that you build.
One of her teammates, Scott Keller, wasn't sure about what he was getting into when he first started, but now loves it.
What got me into CrossFit, I guess, and just the thing that keeps me here is just the challenges every day. If you would have told me I would have been doing gymnastics 4 years ago, I would have thought you were crazy. And then, like she said, just the friends that we've made here and just doing events like this with each other. It's fun.
The sport is becoming increasingly popular since competitions began in 2000. There are 115 athletes competing this year. Reporting from the State Games of America 2015, I'm Anna Faubert.
The Pennsylvania Spirit Gymnastics Club has participated in every State Games of America since it began in 1999. This year they have 11 girls competing in the events, and they're thrilled to have the chance to compete together. With us is State Games reporter Aslan Armstrong with that story.
Thanks, Ryan. So it was really exciting to watch the events today. The only girls competing are the top level competitors, and Spirit Gymnastics have 4 girls representing the team.
Spirit Gymnastics Club in Pennsylvania places great importance on family, close relationships, and competing as a team.
Well, we opened the gym in 1997. It is a family-run business. So my mom, dad, and my 2 sisters are also here at this competition.
The Evans family has been committed to gymnastics from the start. They say they want to give their gymnasts a chance to compete with athletes from all over the country.
Well, our family is a family tradition, and it started, State Games of America started in 1999, and we have been in attendance to every State Games since the beginning.
The girls say they really do get support from their coaches. It's created a positive attitude you can see in the whole team.
Spot, our head coach, I guess, he's always like, we're gonna rock it today, and he's always cheering us up.
The coaches say they spend so much time with their athletes that their bond together is strong.
It's almost like I'm their second mom, and I've taken them under my wing, and especially Miranda, the one that's competing today, the level 10. She's almost like my daughter.
Because the coaches have created this bond and poured so much into their team, their athletes are able to stay positive and compete well.
It's more fun when you have a team to compete with, because then you have people cheering you on, and you can always look up to people, or you can always cheer other people on, and it's a lot easier than competing by yourself.
Miranda Murphy, the final girl from the video, has actually managed to make gymnastics a big part of her future. Next year she'll be attending the University of Rhode Island, and she'll be competing on their gymnastics team. She may even be making an appearance at next year's State Games of America.
Wow.
Very
So
cool.
you saw a lot of impressive girls out there. I'm sure they make it look pretty easy though.
Yeah, from personal experience, I did gymnastics when I was younger, and it's definitely harder to make those moves look as effortless as they do. They're way more difficult than that.
I tried it. It's not easy. It seriously isn't. To do it with grace,
it takes a lot of
I give you
skill.
props. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Hey, we'll take a quick break after this, and when we come back, this game, it takes a lot of volunteers, and of course that doesn't happen overnight, and we'll have a live interview up next.
Our country was built on a truth that remains self-evident even today, where the spirit of the First Amendment rings true, where freedom of speech and freedom of the press are among the foundations of our democracy. But with great freedom comes even greater responsibility. The mission at 1011 is simple. We want to be your trusted source for news, weather, and information, to be relentless with quality, in-depth investigative journalism. At 1011, we're listening and sharing your voice. We're creating new ways to keep you in touch, empowering you with exceptional news coverage. That's why at 1011 we can proudly say with every story we deliver, our name is our reputation. 1011 is here when you need us, anytime, anywhere, on your schedule. We are 1011.
Welcome back. An event like the State Games of America can't take place without a huge volunteer effort. Now, they handle everything from athletes checking in, scoring, timing at events, medical, and even safety volunteers. And joining us now is Sean Welch. You're the volunteer coordinator. I mean, this took a lot to put on, right?
Yes, it was very interesting getting it all pieced together. And I'm thankful that all the volunteers from Lincoln came out to help support such a great event. It wouldn't have been possible without them to make the event run smoothly.
Now, Sean, take us through the timeline of this from when Lincoln realized that they were going to host the State Games of America. How quickly did you start getting to work, getting these volunteers lined up?
Yes, we actually opened up the volunteer registration last August after the Cornhusker State Games, and we had a couple people sign up then, but the majority of the people started coming in right around March to August. So that was kind of the timeline.
Were you getting volunteers from all across the state?
Actually, all across the country.
Wow.
There's actually several people from different parts of the country. I know, like, we had Alaska people participate. They also decided to volunteer while they were here, so we definitely got a different variety from all over.
So we know that there were 15,000 participants. I mean, how many people are we talking as far as volunteer goes to make this all happen?
Yes, volunteer-wise, we had right around a little over 3,000, I believe, and a lot of those people took up several different jobs, and some of them had multiple jobs. I know Emeritus, our volunteer sponsor, provided a lot of volunteers, and they really helped us out providing some much needed volunteers and positions that we were in need coming down the home stretch.
The State Games wrapping up tonight. I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot of feedback throughout the next few days, but so far, what have you heard from the volunteers?
Yes, I know a lot of volunteers have loved their experience. This year, they've really talked about how the communication was really well, and I'm really glad that was the case, because I put a lot of work into making sure that they knew what they were supposed to be doing. And that also goes back to our sport directors, who help make sure that they know what they need to be doing on site and to keep them involved as volunteers.
What do you have to say is the most, I know you said communication is key, but aside from that, I mean, making this so smoothly. I mean, this is a huge event for Lincoln, for PBA, for everybody.
Yes, I think part of it was that we're just in such a great community. Lincoln has been known to have a lot of people come out and volunteer. The Special Olympics in the past, and the Lincoln Marathon earlier this year, and the Cornhusker State Games of the past. We've just always had a lot of volunteers in the community, and I think that they really rallied around this event.
Cool. You said you had some people from Alaska.
Yes.
I imagine you got to meet a lot of these people firsthand. Was there any interesting person or group of people that really stood out that was willing to volunteer this weekend?
I don't know if there really was. I know a lot of the people were really great, but I don't think any one group stuck out the most.
Alaska's probably the furthest, though.
Yes, definitely.
That's cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Sean.
Yep, thanks for having me.
And get some sleep this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, to Omaha now, and Taekwondo. State Games reporter Nick Hermanson was at the event and files this report.
The trap shooting competition for the State Games of America took place today at the Lincoln Trap and Skate Club.
Martial arts portion of the State Games of America kicked off Saturday with Taekwondo at the University of Nebraska Omaha's Sapp Fieldhouse. The event drew all ages out to the Fieldhouse yesterday, and the day got started with the adult men's and women's forms competition. All forms were to be judged on focus, power, timing, difficulty, and overall beauty of the form. Once the last adult competition was over, the medal presentations for the adults began, beginning with the men. Shortly after, the younger division began to take the fieldhouse floor. All ages were separated into the subgroups of beginner, intermediate, advanced, and black belts, all based on their belt and experience level. Once the youth divisions finished, the medal presentations began once again. I caught up with Taekwondo national champion Brandon Herring, who recently overcame a back injury to be able to compete in this year's games.
I had a lumbar discectomy, and that was back in October. And with that, basically I slipped my L4 and L5 disc, and I just got cleared earlier this year to start competing, and this is my second tournament back from surgery.
For more information on the Taekwondo events going on this week, visit www.sga2015.com.
That was State Games reporter Nick Hermanson. Nick tells us that this year the martial arts events are growing faster than ever, with this year's State Games of America turning out to be their biggest one yet.
And there was also a lot of martial arts going on. There was Taekwondo, but there was also Judo at the Bob Devaney Center here in Lincoln. They had a 10th degree black belt. Kinjo Takashi came all the way from Okinawa, Japan to give a demonstration on his style of martial arts. Now joining us today is State Games reporter Lucas Bond. How cool was that to experience all the martial arts?
It was super cool, especially seeing it firsthand like that. I don't have a big martial arts background, so seeing one of the best was great. It was incredible to see somebody with that much skill, for the demonstration, and it's not every day you get to meet somebody that's a master at what they do like he is. Athletes of all ages gathered at the Devaney Center to kick off the karate competitions. Everybody in attendance enjoyed a special demonstration by Kinjo Takashi, who traveled all the way from Japan to be a part of the 2015 State Games in America.
どうでしたか？楽しまれましたか？
はい、大変ね、声を。
I enjoyed it very much, and especially to see the lots of traditional movement is included in the movement of the performance was very, very exciting to watch.
The man responsible for getting him here, Tim Snyder, is a 30-year student of Takashi's. He brings Takashi to the States at least once a year.
Probably in most cases there's maybe close to 10 grades below black belt and then 10 different levels of black belt. Mr. Kinjo is a 10th degree. He's earned his 10th degree black belt in both karate and kobudo.
Takashi demonstrated to the competitors his style of martial arts, starting with kata, using movements not against an opponent. The second part is the application of those movements.
The second movement is the application of how that each movement is adapted or applied into the real situation.
In karate, mental strength is just as valued as physical strength, which is something that keeps Takashi competing into his 70s.
There's not only the focus on athleticism, we've got a broad spectrum of ages and boys, girls, men, and women that are all enjoying the benefits of karate and their athletes. But beyond that, martial arts puts a strong focus on beautiful manners.
Takashi seemed to enjoy the experiments just as much as the competitors. After the demonstration, Takashi actually stuck around to talk to all the competitors, so anybody with any questions or just wanted to shake his hand got a chance to do that, so I thought that was awesome.
Really cool. I mean, it seems like it would be tough to judge who wins or not. How is that determined?
There's actually a couple different competitions. In the first two, one with weapons and one without, they're actually not facing an opponent. They're judged on form and style. And so in the actual combat competitions, they're judged by a point system of striking their opponent.
Very cool. Interesting.
Mm-hmm,
Did you try it though?
When I was filming, I almost got knocked out a couple times, but I didn't get into any combat with anybody.
Just keep the camera safe, right?
Right. I had to get out. I was going to say, I felt like I was under attack a couple times.
There you go. Well, good job, Lucas. Thank you. Well, when we come back, we'll head out to the track. But first, let's take a look at the State Games of America from a very different perspective. The guys at Digital Sky have been high above these games and provided this video to the Nebraska Sports Council. Here's a look at the State Games of America from above.
Track and field is a unique sport within itself. It's just you versus your competition on the track, runway, or the ring. And there is one person, one competitor who says her body is the one that she's challenged with. More on that, State Games reporter Marjani Knighton is here. What do you have to share with us?
Thank you for having me here, you guys. Well, Kim has been battling multiple sclerosis since she was about 31 years old now, and she learned to deal with the pain and effects that come along with it. Of course, playing sports isn't easy dealing with MS, but knowing that her kids are playing in the same events as her and competing makes the passion for the game so much better.
Coming out of retirement, Kim Shaw hasn't competed on the track since 1994. She's back competing in shot put, discus, and the javelin. The reason? Doctors diagnosed her with multiple sclerosis.
Even if the body doesn't move like it should, it's all in the heart. The heart, the soul, and the brain. You know, you have that competitiveness inside of you. It's always there.
Preparing the way she wants to for the state games wasn't an option. Her MS made it that much harder for her to get physically ready to compete.
I really don't care how far I throw. I have not practiced. I have not prepared because with my multiple sclerosis, it would be pretty painful, and it could interfere with me actually competing.
Kim's a show up and compete type of person, but she's not competing alone. Her son and daughter, Walker and Adriana, also share the same passion for track and field.
Getting it from her, it's a big thing.
It's nice to have someone that's been there, and then to have someone be there that knows, like, form-wise what to do.
Some people think that I kind of had a big influence in it, but our daughter just started doing the shot put in 7th grade and just really liked it. And then the son was shagging for her in discus, and he wanted to know how to throw it back to her, and that's how his passion started.
Track and field became a family affair for the Shaws.
As you can clearly see by looking at her, you couldn't really tell that she has MS, but of course she just learned how to fight through that, and knowing that her kids are there just made the love for it so much better, and it's just like a affair for them, a family affair. It's great.
MJ, that was an awesome story, and you play softball at Nebraska,
Yes.
So obviously you've had to battle some injuries, but nothing compared to that.
Oh, nothing at all. I mean, it goes along with any injury, I feel. You just have to have the mental side of it all just to fight through it and know that you can get through anything, and know that you love this sport so much that you don't want to stop and you just want to keep competing and have that fire and drive for it.
Very cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. And among the thousands of athletes competing for the games, America is the local celebrity. Lita Powell Drake, also known as Calamity Kate, earned her fame as Lincoln's television personality, but now she's tackling a different challenge, horseshoes. Here's State Games of America reporter Michael Granetti with the story.
Some may know her as Calamity Kate, others may know her as the lady who dresses up in the Salvation Army outfit. But for those in the horseshoe competition at the 2015 State Games of America, Lita Powell Drake is simply just another participant vying for a medal.
But I love horseshoe pitching, and I just wish that they had indoor horseshoe pitching so we could do it all year round.
Drake said her passion for sports started at a young age, and she always participated in the sports she had access to.
Oh, well, that's good. I love sports. I've always loved sports. From the time I was a little kid, and I was aggressive, so I was pretty decent.
Her curiosity for trying new things led her to horseshoes and to Al Rosenbaum, who ultimately ended up teaching her the ins and outs of the sport.
This is my 30th year with the Cornhusker State Games running this horseshoe program. So this is my lucky year. This is with the State Games of America. Wonderful opportunity.
Since being introduced to the sport, pitching horseshoes has emerged as one of Drake's favorite activities.
I had to learn the rules, and so I learned the rules, and that started me about, how long ago? I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, time flies when you're having fun.
Drake will bring her passion and excitement to the horseshoe competition, which begins on Saturday, August 1st at the Lincoln Horseshoe Club.
The fact that people are coming from all over the country to Lincoln, Nebraska makes it so very, very special. And the competition is keen because the people who are coming in had to have won the gold or the bronze or the silver medal. So they're already medalists. So the competition's going to be very keen, but we here in Nebraska are going to give it our best to show that Lincoln, Nebraska will have the best national state games in the known world.
For more information on the 2015 State Games of America, visit sga2015.com. Reporting for the State Games of America, this is Michael Grandinetti.
Don't you just love her energy?
Yeah.
Seriously, it's crazy. And Lita also competes in bowling and often can be found on the golf course. Even she's going tomorrow.
That's right. Hey, pretty cool. Well, State Games of America diving competition is underway, and one competitor has a special appreciation for the sport. Robert Chandler has been through a very difficult year, and that's probably an understatement. He's made an incredible comeback to participate in today's event. Nicole Eisenbrom explains.
Thanks. Robert Chandler is an inspiration to any athlete going through a difficult time right now. He has overcome so many obstacles in the past year and has been able to stay positive through it all. Robert Chandler has been diving since he was 6 years old. It has been a lifelong passion, and in 2012, he began training to enter a large competition.
My son and I competed in the 2013 Cornhusker State Games, where I silver medaled and my son bronze medaled. And that's when I started training for the 2014 Cornhusker, and that's when I got in my accident.
Robert broke his neck in a diving accident while training. His injury was so severe, doctors told him he would never walk again.
Basically lost everything from walking, brushing my hair, to saying, okay, I want to make the comeback.
Making a comeback wasn't easy. It took commitment and dedicated training to get back onto the diving board.
I've pretty much been in the weight room every day, 5-6 days a week, to come, to get a list to come to State Games of America.
After months of working toward his goal to dive again, Robert was able to compete in the aquatic events. Both Robert and his son Curtis won the competition in their age categories, receiving gold medals.
Well, for one, it kind of feels good because me and my dad both got it, and he's been working for that a long time, almost a year now. He's been working for that, and it just feels awesome, both winning it together.
The reason for his recovery is simple: his kids.
I want to teach them that nothing's impossible, that never to give up, and always move forward in life.
Some people would call it a miracle, but for Robert, it was simply never giving up. Robert never quit. He persevered, and now because of that, he says he gets to continue doing something he loves.
Thanks, Nicole. So what's next for Robert?
Well, in just a few short weeks, he'll actually be competing again, this time at the Masters Championship, and he says he'll have a few new dives ready for the judges then.
Cool. Thank you so much for that report. Awesome story.
Yeah, no problem.
On the final day of the State Games, one of the most death-defying competitions in sports took place at Browns Airport in Weeping Water, Nebraska. Skydivers jumped 4,000 feet, aiming for a single, probably very small target. The second part of the skydiving competition is called canopy piloting, where the competitors have to land between two gates where they glide to the ground. Here's a look at the sights and sounds of today's skydiving competition.
I started in the U.S. Army, and 1970 was my first jump. I'd never flown in an airplane in my whole entire life. I went to basic training on a bus. When I realized that I was going to jump out of an airplane, I thought, oh my God, what have I done? And then after my first experience of jumping out from 1,250 feet with a military round parachute, I thought, this is truly amazing.
I have been around it literally my whole life. Essentially, my father's a skydiver, my mother was a skydiver, my sister's made jumps. It's honestly a family tradition.
As a parent, I'm always a little bit nervous. I would say that in my lifetime experiences with him, giving him a set of car keys was more nerve-wracking than giving him a parachute. Really, we're literally flying and approaching each other in free fall and able to reach out and grasp hands and hold on to each other. And I've never been in a formation where there's never been a big smile.
All the other worries go away. This is what you're focusing on. Making a simple life makes a pleasant life, and when you're plummeting through the air, the goal's pretty simple.
I would say my son's ultimate goal in life is to beat me at everything I do. And you know what? He's really good at it. Oh, no.
skydiving, that's easily got to be one of the most exhilarating sports in the state games. Now, last year...
Yeah, I wouldn't do it, but you said you did.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to get up in a plane and go up, Drew White and I, and that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The first time we had skydive, and it's one thing, you know, to have someone on you with the harness, but these guys are professionals, and like you said, they're aiming for that target, which is incredible, because when you land in, you know, a big open field, that's easy enough, but when you're aiming for the target, that's what makes it a sport.
I mean, you've been up in the sky. I wouldn't want to do it, but you know, was it easy to maneuver? Because I mean, that would just seem so difficult.
Easier than you think, and you know, a lot of it was the professional skydiver that we were with.
Gotcha.
So they were doing most of the directions.
Very cool.
Yeah, a lot of fun though. So the skydivers out in Weeping Water, that's a pretty cool sight to see.
Definitely.
Well, it's been a great 2 weeks of pageantry and competition at the State Games of America. As we leave you tonight, here's a look back at some of the highlights of the State Games of America, produced and edited by Professor Barney McCoy of the College of Journalism and Mass Communications.